Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay. Hello, Biggie. Hello, Jay.
Hello, sir. How are you? I'm well.
I'm enjoying the weather. I got to be honest. I know you love talking about the weather outside, Jay, but seeing it warm up is just...
Warms the cockles.
It warms the cockles.
Did you take advantage of said warm weather, Mike? Or
I
just
stood outside. I did. I stood outside and went...
Last time he left the house, we talked about that yesterday.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, I
got whaled in the ball sack.
I got whaled in the balls. Thought I ruptured a nut. That's absolutely a fact, and that's why I don't leave the house. It's not safe. It's not safe. I don't run because you're going to get mugged or raped, and I don't like leaving the house in general. But I do like sitting on the porch when it's a blue sky outside. It's nice.
You need a rocking chair.
I do, right? Yeah. That's what I need, a rocking chair. I need to be 50 years older is what I need. Look at that big dude over there. J.R. Adams in the house. How are you, my friend?
Good.
Welcome.
Good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
6'6".
He is a mountain of a man.
He is a mountain of a man.
They hit my head a lot.
Yeah, I know, right? Former pro wrestler, local guy, stuntman extraordinaire, Hollywood stuntman. We'll get into all this stuff as we go here. But thanks for coming in. If people don't know, you can follow you. You've got some colorful stuff. I love your posts on Facebook, Instagram.
Right, thank you.
J Adams Stunts on Instagram.
Yep.
At J Adams Stunts on Twitter. And J.R. Adams on Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have fun on there. So
Yeah.
You're posting a lot. St. Patrick's Day out kicking around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's I'm recovering a little bit. It was a long day yesterday. But
Yeah.
I live within walking distance of House of Shamrock. So, I mean, I have to go out on a St. Patrick's Day for that. So.
Yeah, it looked fun, man. We've got some mutual friends, and it was fun seeing some of them in pictures and blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, it's cool, man. I'm reading your stuff. I'm like, oh, shit, Jay Adams hasn't learned yet not to fight with people on Twitter with fucking politics. It's such a shit world that we're in right now that the landmines that we can fall into with that stuff. I don't know. Are you having fun on social media? Because I'm not anymore, really.
It's not really, to me, it's not fun, but it's a necessary thing to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe if you believe in something, you should be outspoken against it. And I know there's people that believe in things. You know, we were talking about this earlier about there's certain celebrities and things like that have opinions, but they can't post the things that they feel about because of that whole culture of people will immediately you're going to have people either going at you or loving you because of it.
Right.
Me personally, I feel it's important if you feel something to get that out there and to let people know who you are. And I've never been shy to do that. And it's caused some issues, even within family, getting into some arguments with family members and things like that. But I stand up for what I believe in, and I respect other people's opinion to be able to do that as well. And if they want to come at me and if they have some valid points, I'll gladly listen to them. But if you come at me with garbage, I'm not I'm going to come
with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're in here today, among other things, to promote the UCP Pucksters, which is a charity group, and you guys are taking on the alumni team for the Red Wings this Saturday, which is March 23rd. It's their 19th annual game. I don't know how many years the Pucksters have been doing it. But there's a silent auction to raise money. And they got I was looking at the prize list there. There's some really cool stuff, packages for Wings games and other sporting events and bars and all kinds of cool stuff.
Is D-Mac playing in this one?
Yeah.
Can someone drop the gloves with him, put him in his place?
Well, that'll probably be me because he's already been talking trash to me. So I've known Darren for about 19 years, and we've actually never been on the ice together.
Really?
So this is going to be the first time. So it's going to be fun because he loves it. I mean, he's got 4 Stanley Cups, and he still will trash talk like crazy.
Oh yeah, dude. Anytime we get into a fight with him or something, he'll just throw up the 4 fingers.
Yeah.
As in, I got 4 rings, bitches, and then he can just walk out of the room.
I'll tell him I've been in 4 more movies than you have. So.
Oh. Well, yeah, it's for you guys are raising money for people with disabilities, and that's mental, physical, whatever.
It's United Cerebral Palsy, which is UCP. Like you said, it's a 19th annual game. This is actually it's been going on for 19 years for United Cerebral Palsy. One of the guys that runs it, I play hockey with, Mike Ward. He's on the board of directors for United Cerebral Palsy. And they got together this game a long time ago, and the Red Wing alumni have been part of it every year.
Yeah. And so life without limits is the goal. That's kind of the motto.
Yeah, skate without limits is the game, and life without limits.
And skatewithoutlimits.org is where people can go if they want to donate, if they want to get information about it. And we should mention the game, like I said, March 23rd, this Saturday. We'll be out at Orchard Lake St. Mary's Ice Arena in Orchard Lake. Doors at 3:30. There's a game at 4, I believe.
Yeah, we have a sled hockey game exhibition, which is awesome. I believe it's the Sled Wings this year that's going to be out there. But it's a bunch of able-bodied and disabled people that obviously can't play regular hockey, so they play on these sleds. So you sit down in these sleds and you have 2 smaller sticks with spikes in them, and that's how you propel yourself.
Yeah.
And
we've seen that with skiing too, haven't we? From time to time.
But we saw this with the U.S. Olympic team, right?
Yeah,
They
have a U.S. Olympic team. It's amazing to see, and some of these kids are, brand new to sports because some of them don't have use of their legs, and so this is the only sport that they finally a sport that they've been able to play. And it's amazing to see. So we put in a bunch of guys that raise money as well, like all of us players do. And the guys that have never played it before, we put them in sleds and put them against these kids that have been playing for a while and watch them just skate circles.
Is it really hard to learn how to do it right from the beginning?
Oh man, I have not done. I've reffed one of the games, but I've never actually been in a sled. But even Darren has said, former pro hockey player, it's brutal being out there because you're using your hands to move around. You're not using your legs at all. You don't even have access to your legs. So but man, some of these kids are amazing, man. They're amazing athletes.
Jay, wasn't that what Tanith Belbin was going to call? We call Tanith Belbin, the local girl Olympic skater.
Oh yeah.
I think that was one of the events that she was calling.
Yeah,
right?
she was doing she was in South Korea, I guess. It was South Korea for the Olympics,
right?
Winter Olympics, doing the ice dancing calls and stuff. And then she was going to stay there and cover. I want to say it was the sled hockey game. And
well, this past year was it got a lot of. It finally got a lot of TV coverage, and the U.S. Olympic team, which is a lot of former veterans and things like that have disabled now. And man, it's amazing to see. And they're rough, man. They'll go at each other. I mean, seeing these sleds come together and smash together, it's amazing to watch. So yeah, we got that game going on at 4. And then they'll clear the ice.
Oh, I know, right? 6'6", what are you, 265, 245?
Yeah, 265, 270, somewhere around there. So.
You are always the biggest man on the ice, are you not?
Usually, but actually one of the Detroit Red Wing alumni, his name is Dean Kolstad. And he played for the Minnesota North Stars and the San Jose Sharks. And me and him are pretty much the exact same height.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy. He's one of my buddies. He actually runs Gull Lake View Golf Course out in Kalamazoo now.
Oh, okay.
And so we become buddies. And I like going against him too because he's the same size as me. And he's a big dude. So,
are you more of a finesse player or a
ballerina?
I mean, I do pirouettes. No, I play on a league during the week as well. I play a couple times a week. I always tell people my game is just you guys get the puck. I'm going to camp out in front of the goalie, and then you just shoot it, and I'll try not to run into it.
It kind of goes to our point. We've been arguing for years that we just need a sumo wrestler. Just plop him in as goalie, and just a blob, just to sit there in net. And
I don't
cover
think that's illegal. I think we've looked at the rule book.
We wondered if he had to be on skates, and in fact, you do have to wear skates. We're not sure whether the skates need to be on his feet.
On the feet. Oh, that's a good idea.
Just have him on his forearms
even
or
if
something. Be more imposing.
We just throw him on his feet and just slide him on his ass into the net.
But they do have regulations on how big your pads can be, and they
no,
would
we
have
just
to
want
be
a mountain of a man, just a blob.
We're talking about
don't even give him pads. Wow.
Picture a gumdrop, a human gumdrop.
We're talking about the guy that if he requires medical attention, he's in an apartment. They're breaking a wall.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's an
he's
airlift.
Trained out of
my
it.
600-pound life guy.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
That guy. Can you imagine? Just all you got to do is either you.
And granted, these guys are surgeons. They'll hit the upper corners.
Yeah,
and
but if
stuff.
he just kind of brings the arm up a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've just got 1 inch to hit, and that's it. And you're just stuffed in that net.
I like that posture right there, Mike.
Yeah,
arms up, kind of W, just like that.
You say there's only an inch left, but being that I've been able to play with some of these former Red Wings
do it all day long.
Even Mickey Redmond, he's 72 years old, and the guy still flies around the ice, and he can pinpoint his shots. It's unbelievable the talent. When I've been playing since I was a kid, but. Never played at a level at that. And then even these guys that have been retired for years, and it's amazing to watch these guys.
Yeah, it is. We've been lucky enough to be at some events, football stuff and hockey stuff, and being on ice level or field level and seeing just how fast, how different it is when it's like, I play in a pickup league, a beer league or something. It's like, no, dude.
When you see the speed, that's the biggest thing is the speed is like, man, it's so fast.
Yeah. I was watching a video Perry Vellucci had filmed of Mac on the ice at one of those things, and he's literally on the ice, and it's just like, and Darren just takes the puck at center ice and just, whoa, it just buries his goal. And it's like, that's what those guys can do. That's what they're capable of.
It's amazing.
I hear those get kind of heated, though.
You know what? They never have. I heard that one a couple of weeks ago.
Ted Lindsay's known to be a prick out there back, before he passed away.
Ted was amazing. I was very lucky enough doing this game. Some of the Red Wing alumni found out that I do stunt work and became, we're fascinated by it. So I became buddies with them. And I got really lucky last summer to get invited out to a bunch of the charity hockey or golf games with these guys to play as a quote unquote celebrity. I'm like, boy, you guys are, at the bottom of the barrel if you're coming out for me for a celebrity. But one of the ones I got to do was a Ted Lindsay golf outing and got to meet him. And, Ted was a small guy and I'm 6'6". I had to get a picture with him. But the first thing he says, he's like, I think I could still take you. I'm like, you know what? You probably could. You probably could. I wouldn't mess with it.
Feisty little son of a bitch.
Yeah, 92 years old. And he's like, I could take you. I'm like, I think you can.
I know. I got a picture with him once at Joe Louis Arena. And it's like, I tower over him. And I'm like, how was this guy like terrible Ted, this feared?
And he was feared by everybody. I mean,
just an ass, just a bastard out on the ice.
Yeah, we did a local news show to talk about the game with Mickey Redmond, and we were talking some stories, and that whole famous picture where he's using the stick as a gun in Toronto is because he literally had death threats. Him and Gordie Howe, they had death threats from the Toronto crowd. And that little guy was like, okay, he's pointing his stick like a gun to him. It's like he had no fear whatsoever.
Yeah, and I think he scored the game winner in that game 7 to end that thing, showing his no fear.
Just amazing.
So how did you get involved with the, is this something personal to you? The, cerebral palsy or the UCP pucksters?
Not necessarily UCP itself. I like to try to do a lot of charity stuff. And I play hockey with these guys, pickup hockey. I've been playing with them for years. And Mike Ward is the guy that puts it together, and he's on the board of United Cerebral Palsy, and he's the one that puts together this game. And so I'd always wanted to be a part of it. And so one year, when they finally, because it's tough to get in, we got a lot of guys that want to play in it. So finally, when he had an opening, he's like, you be a part of it, and we all get donations leading up to it. So you set yourself a goal, and you have to make that donation goal to be able to be eligible to play. And if not,
you do?
Yep, absolutely. So
really,
yep.
Well,
So, and if you don't, then you have to pay out of your pocket. So
really, scroll down. It was one guy in particular I was looking at. I was like, this guy's in trouble. Mike something.
Oh, you want to go tap? Whatever you help.
No, just scroll down. Find a Mike Smith. Maybe is there a Mike Smith out there? Mike or Mark Simon? Maybe Mark Simon, all the way to the right.
Oh yeah.
And I think Mark's going to fall short. He's got till Saturday. He's trying to raise $1,000, I believe. And
Mark's had nothing
Come
on
on,
there.
Mark.
He's at 0.
Well,
he's at unacceptable, Mark Simon.
Well, as much as I would like people to help out Mark Simon, I think you should actually donate to my page.
Yeah.
I've surpassed my goal. My goal was $750. I've surpassed it. I'm at about 1,300. I'd love to be able to double it to get to 1,500. So if I just need it till Saturday. If anybody wants to go to skatewithoutlimits.org,
Big beard, hockey helmet on.
Skatewithoutlimits.org. You click on Pucksters and you find Jay Adams, and you'll see that you can donate. And
you can't miss him. He looks like he looks like Grizzly Adams, or he looks like a hockey player from the really early days.
Yeah. I'm like a Yeti.
Yeah, it's Yeti. It's very Yeti-ish. I like that. Yeah, but I was like, please say that, because I started clicking on everyone like, all right, this guy's got a couple $100 to go. All right, this guy's raised some money. I was like, please don't say Jay's going to come in here with $50.
Oh yeah, no, I've been really lucky. I've been pushing it like crazy. I bug all my Facebook followers and things like that. But it is it's a great event. Once I got involved with it, I found out more about it and how great of an event it is and how much it helps. I mean, every year we raise close to $40,000. Wow. So I think total over the 18 years we're at like about $450,000 that we've been able to raise.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, and it's amazing. And a lot of the kids from UCP that are benefited by UCP, they come to the game. We usually have one of them is going to be dropping the puck. And we have one, I forget her name, but one of the girls is going to be doing the national anthem. And and these kids are so grateful you know, for just us coming out and playing hockey. You
For
know what
sure.
I mean? And it's such a cool event for them to be able to go out on the ice. They do a chuck-a-puck, and you know, they get to be involved with everything.
So what
And
does that?
It's awesome.
What does that money go for? The 40 grand or 450,000? Is that to like for people's houses?
It goes direct to United Cerebral Palsy. UCB helps out a lot with families that aren't able. I mean, because there's a lot of medical bills involved and equipment. You know, a lot of these kids are wheelchair bound, so that stuff gets really expensive really fast. And not every, you know, unfortunately, not every day. You know, not everybody has the best medical insurance, and there's only certain things that are covered. So UCP helps out with that, and also helps out with doing events for these kids and adults. You know, things that are catered to them, so things, events that they're able to do, because there's a lot of, you know, stuff that they're not able to be a part of, and so things like this help events for these kids that they can get out and have a good time, and be able to like live a normal life.
Yeah, not feel like an outsider.
Yeah, exactly.
But feel welcome everywhere. And well, I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun. Again, skatewithoutlimits.org. Is that where we want to send people?
Yep, absolutely.
Click on UCP Pucksters and find Jay Adams. And we've got a lot of wrestling fans that listen to this show, and and we've got the most generous listeners everywhere. So I'm sure you'll get some you'll get a bump in your donations there, and
Well, I
and make it a
appreciate it for
successful
sure.
event.
And people that want to come to the event too. Tickets are $10 for a person, or they're $35 for a family pack, and that's up to 5 people. So, like you said, you get 2 great games you get to watch. You get to see some of these, and a lot of those alumni, the Red Wing alumni, they stick around, they sign autographs, things like that. And you have the great auction items as well. That there's some great people from all over the Metro Detroit donate some great stuff. I actually bid on a bunch of stuff too.
Did you?
Oh yeah,
Cool.
Hey, before we go much further, hey, everybody, check out the DetroitCast listener business page. It's a page under the Help the Show tab on our website, DetroitCast.com. Page includes businesses owned by listeners. Take a look. It'd be great for you to support fellow listeners who support the show. Today's featured listing is none other than PC Solutions. They're great. AA Ron over there wants to help you out. They're Michigan's premier managed IT service provider. They are experts in their field so that you can be an expert in yours. Mention TDC for a free site evaluation.
Mentioned wrestling fans. Former pro wrestler J.R. Adams here. Do you use the R because is there another J. Adams in Hollywood? The surfer maybe? Or
the skateboarder actually.
Or skateboarder,
yeah, from the 1970s.
Great surfer too. But
yeah, it's funny because if you just Google J. Adams, you're going to get a lot about a 1970s skateboarder that's now passed away. But yeah, when I joined the Actors Union, that name was already taken, so I had to put my middle initial in there. It happens a lot.
That's why there's so many people you see with the middle initials.
Oh, yeah.
Their name's already taken.
Yeah, or even like Emma Stone. Her real name's Emily, but there was already an Emily Stone, so now she goes by Emma. You know, her whole life she went by Emily, but now she goes by Emma.
Is that why we have a Topher Grace instead of a Christopher Grace?
Could be. You know, I never thought about that. There probably is.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So wrestling, man, how did you get your start? Is it true? Were you like working at a Detroit radio station?
Well, I wasn't working directly for him, but 97.1 back in the day, Deminsky and Doyle was.
Sure.
I used to do a bunch of stunts for them. I was Jay the Cable Guy. I used to do a bunch of ridiculous stunts for them.
What would they do? I didn't know they did stunts.
Yeah, I mean, just simple stuff. We'd like me and another giant wrestler that was about my size would like hold hands and walk around, you know, in public and try to get reactions and stuff like, you know, ridiculous things like that. One time they pepper sprayed me just to see how I would react. That was pretty miserable. But they kind of helped me get I met a local wrestler through there, and I'd always wanted to be into wrestling, but I never knew how to get into it.
Yeah.
And I met a local wrestler through there. He's like, yeah, I got a show coming out, check it out. So I went out. It was in Dearborn. It was a smaller show. And it was actually pretty funny because
just like at a gymnasium or something.
It was at like a VFW hall.
Yeah.
And that first show was actually CM Punk and Colt Cabana were on it. And,
oh wow!
Which CM Punk is obviously a huge WWE star now. But yeah, I fell in love with it, and I started talking with the guys. I said, you know, how do you get trained for this? And they told me about a couple of different schools, and I went online and found a training school and immediately signed up and started doing the training. So.
And that shit's totally real, right?
Oh man!
Absolutely.
Well, you know, it's always funny.
I know wrestlers get offended when you say that.
You know, I don't necessarily get offended just because it's been such a thing for so long. What I always tell people is it's predetermined, but what we do in the ring is real.
Your body's being thrown around.
I broke my back in 2011 in the ring. I've broken fingers. I used to break my nose every few months. I broke my leg. what we're doing in there is definitely rough. Yeah, it's predetermined, but there's certain guys that hit you a little bit harder than the other guys as well.
Yeah.
And me being usually the biggest guy, everybody knows they can just tee off on me. So I would get hit quite a bit.
Yeah.
You're back in the era with like the hardcore chairs and stuff being strewn about. You ever get into that?
Yeah, I mean, I've done some hardcore matches over the years where you do chairs and tables and stuff like that, but even some light tubes every once in a while. But I've done some steel cage matches, but I wasn't known as more of a hardcore. I was more of just a straight up wrestler. I didn't do a lot of the hardcore stuff, but every once in a while, if you have a big storyline, a lot of times it culminates in a big steel cage match, you know?
Yeah.
So I've had plenty of steel cage matches.
Did you have any background at all? I mean, hockey maybe you played other sports, football, you know, in Southgate, but was there anything? I can only imagine going there the first time you're like, I see people do this on TV before. What the hell? What am I supposed to do?
Well, it's funny because as I was a kid, I played hockey, I played basketball, I played football. But I remember being in ninth grade, and I was always diving over desks and doing all these weird things. And people, what are you doing? I was like, when I grow up, I want to be a stuntman. But
awesome.
being in Southgate, Michigan in 1990, you have no idea how to become a stuntman. So I always wanted to be an entertainer, and I wanted to be a physical entertainer. And I never did amateur wrestling or anything like that, but I was always a big wrestling fan. I always used to love what they do in the ring. I used to watch it religiously. So when that opportunity came up, I was like, man, that would be great for me. I'm a big guy. That would be great. So without any amateur wrestling or anything like that, I got into it and I started training. But that's one of the things you train in, pro wrestling. You actually train in some amateur wrestling, some MMA. You actually learn your fundamentals as well.
Well, you've got a couple options. Being a big dude that wants to get into that, you either go find a way in the door, or you just be a doorman at a bar. You know what I mean? Like that's
which I did for years as well.
Right,
so.
right. It's an easy gig. They won't give me the door guy gig, but you can walk in and get that gig.
But a ton of that is about body control, right? So there has to be.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's the thing. You have to be able to, because anybody can train on how to do it, but not everybody can physically pull it off. Luckily, I'm a big guy, but I was always pretty athletic. I could always move pretty well. So I had a fairly successful, wrestling career. Never made it huge. I did wrestle for WWE a few times, wrestle for TNA. I did tryout matches.
You were on SmackDown.
Yeah, I was on SmackDown. I never got a full-time gig, but I did a lot more than a lot of people have been able to do. So I've been very lucky. So
did you see his SmackDown match, by the way?
I did, and I wonder about WWE. Like, how close were you? You know what I mean? I mean, you're obviously on there. You're in an event, but like, how close are you to just tip in that little bit where you become a regular character?
And that's that's the thing. Sometimes you can never know like how close you are. Like you said, they used to book me anytime they're in Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, and I would do what they call dark matches, which was matches that they would do before they start taping, or I did like a SmackDown match. But you never kind of know what's in their minds. You have to be. A lot of it is also right place and right time. They can have a character idea, but they know a certain type of person that they want to be that character.
Certain size, look.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't fit it, then they go with the guy next to you. So it just all depends. You never really know.
Well, I was going to ask you that too. Like, why? If you guys have any idea why a guy like Hulk Hogan blows up to be an international superstar, and Jay Adams doesn't. Like, Hulk Hogan's not known as like a brilliant wrestler.
Right, but that was also a totally different time too. Late 70s, early 80s. There was still a mystery behind pro wrestling, and there was still everything was very flamboyant, and his charisma is what made him a superstar.
Yeah,
he was able to his charisma. He was able to get sympathy from the fans. There's a lot of people. It goes into the technical stuff with wrestling, but to be a good baby face, a baby guy, you have to be able to get sympathy from the fans.
Right.
And
they're hardcore fans.
Yeah, and they're hardcore fans. They
don't want to give sympathy out.
Yeah, and back in the late 70s, early 80s, you have this big, buff, tan guy with bright bleach blonde hair, and he had the charisma to go along with it. It was a perfect storm.
Yeah.
And the crowd just ate it up, and they have for 30, 40 years now.
Yeah.
Which is cool, because now they're doing the Hulk Hogan biopic movie.
Oh, are they?
Chris Hemsworth is playing him.
Oh,
nice.
no kidding.
I didn't know that.
So,
You got to get some stunt work going there.
Yeah,
you
well,
know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie. I found a producer's email. I emailed him. I said, even if you don't want to use me in the movie, I could be a consultant or something.
Hell yeah.
Trust me, I always throw my name out wherever I can.
Well, send him the SmackDown tape because I think you guys got robbed. I do. Did you see that thing, man?
Yeah.
How the ref didn't see some of the shenanigans. What was
those refs
Jesse
are-
was pulling? It wasn't even Festus.
Those referees, they're known to be blind.
It was and you're taking the brunt of it. I'm like, dude, he just kicked him in the fucking face. He did. He's not even tagged.
Dude, I thought about this yesterday during the
It's
Michigan
outrageous.
Big Ten championship game yesterday. A referee got
Michigan State.
Michigan versus State. Well, whatever. I watched
Are
Michigan.
you talking at the end where they clearly missed where he slapped the guy for the?
No. But a referee got taken out in the game yesterday, and of course he's just hurt a little bit, but instantly up right away. And I'm like, what a difference between the WWE. It's crazy how this guy is just he's hurt, he's down, he's up. Referee can be down for 3 minutes in a wrestling match.
Yeah, and not see anything.
Yeah, someone's out with a
Unreal.
chair.
Yeah, it's fun, man. How much difference is there, like, in the VFW halls or gymnasiums, versus being on a big stage like Joe Louis Arena for a televised SmackDown event?
Well, that's what was amazing for me. I always tell people, if you're a wrestling fan, go to these local shows because you'll be right there. You'll be 10 feet away from the wrestlers, because they're smaller venues, and you'll be able to see everything great. For us as wrestlers, it is definitely a bigger stage. And for me, it was amazing because I grew up in Detroit. I grew up going to the Joe, going to hockey games, going to see WWE at the Joe. So for me to be able to walk down that ramp at Joe Louis and be in the ring was amazing. And the hardcore fans are guys that do come out to the local shows. So that whole ring was surrounded by a bunch of local people that knew who I was.
Yeah.
And started
Eddie Venom.
Yeah, like on that I actually wrestled as Jay Adams. Under
Oh,
my
you
real
did?
name.
Okay.
But they were starting Eddie chants.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm trying to be the bad guy. And I'm like, but that's pretty cool being at the Joe and having your name chanted. I mean, that was pretty rad. So.
And is it like craft services backstage?
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's just done up right and proper.
That was always the best part about getting to work for WWE because you'd be there all day from noon till midnight probably. But catering is there all day too. So
Yeah.
it's all
So what do? Do you have an agent at that point, or how do you follow up then after that match and go like, I want to do that again?
Yeah.
well, with
I
wrestling,
like free food.
Yeah, exactly. With wrestling, basically they had guys that work in talent relations, and it would usually be a former pro wrestler. For a while it was Simon Dean or Nova, who was in ECW. I would send him tapes, email him all the time, and say, hey, here's some tapes of me wrestling. And then Tommy Dreamer took over that job, and I became buddies with him and started sending to him. So he knew that whenever they're in Michigan, Chicago, Indiana, they could hire me. I would come in as a local guy, make one of their guys look amazing, and then and then go on from there.
So it's self-promotion.
Absolutely, yeah.
versus
With
having
wrestling,
some sort of agent.
Yeah, there was never any kind of agent with wrestling. It was everything done yourself. So I would send out my tapes to them. I would send out my emails and just
Just
basically
try to be top of mind.
It's kind of one of those things. It's like you keep emailing them until they email back. Eventually they'll like what they see, and or eventually they'll just get sick of you, and they'll be like, all right, come, we'll hire you.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's if you're not pressing and pushing, if you're just sitting at home waiting for the phone to ring, well, they're gonna be in
bother.
Detroit in a month. I should be getting the call any minute now.
Yeah, don't bother because there's going to be 20 other guys that are pressing that are going to get their attention before you do. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I was watching some of the smaller matches too, and those look every bit as professional in some ways as the big matches. Obviously, they've gotten more crazy nowadays. But how much play? I mean, I can't imagine you have that much time. I mean, a lot of these guys have second jobs, coming into town for an event. Most of them, And so, how much planning can actually go in to what you're going to do? Is that something where you meet backstage for 10 minutes and go, all right, I'm going to
kind of
end with this or that?
Yeah, but what I would always do, I like to feed off the crowd more.
Yeah.
That would kind of determine what I would do out there because I help sometimes. My buddy has a school in Centerline, Truth Martini. It's House of Truth Wrestling School. Every once in a while, I'll go and help him with some of the new students. And what I try to tell people, it's like you could do amazing moves and flip, whatever. You could do all this cool stuff, but if the crowd isn't reacting to it, it doesn't matter one bit.
Yeah.
So I always would react from the crowd. So I would usually have a beginning, a transition in the middle where the good guy's up, and then switches over to the bad guy, and then going up, and then an ending. You know.
So are you guys like whispering to each other?
Yeah,
as
a
you're
lot of
locked
times.
up, like, all right, dude, time for me to do my sweet leg drop.
A lot of times, yeah.
Really?
We'll take a guy, yep. Because like I said, we'd get a beginning, a middle, and an end, and then I just kind of ad lib from there. So I would tell the guy, I'm like, all right, there's this guy in the crowd that's talking a lot. And I'm going to throw you out of the ring towards him. And, so yeah, it's a lot of just whispering in the ear, getting him in a headlock, and you can talk to him all day in his ear and let him know what's going on.
Asshole. Watch your fingers.
Exactly.
So would an ad lib in the ring be like when the part where you throw the guy and he bounces off the ropes and then he comes back and he ducks under the crossbar or whatever?
Yeah.
Is that like an ad lib clothesline? Yeah.
Yeah, depending. If I want to do something more elaborate, I'll say, all right, duck one and take a clothesline. So that means he's going to duck whatever, no matter what I throw at him, he's going to duck under the first time, and then when he comes back, I'm going to take his head off with the clothesline.
Yeah.
So, you get... And then
can you go like you're going to duck one, duck two, and then boot to the abdomen?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you get to go back this way and then that way, and then boom.
Yep.
I love it.
I'll tell you,
I'll trust involved.
I'll
have him in the corner. I'll say, stay in the corner, and I'll whip him into the corner. He stays there, and I come in and I do something to him. I mean, it just all depends. And that's the thing. The more experience you get, and the more you work with experienced guys, you don't have to talk as much. You kind of know what each other's going to do.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
You can say that though, but we've seen it in NFL huddles, college huddles, where it's like, on two, break, and then someone jumps on one. I mean, if you say duck two, and then boot to the abdomen coming, and he doesn't duck on duck on two.
That's what I mean by the experience, because the more experience you have, the more that you get kind of control of that. But when you're wrestling a new guy, that's always the funnest, because when they screw up, they get a whooping.
They take a real clothesline,
and that's how you learn. You mess up the move. Okay, boom. I'm a little stiff with you the next shot. I'm like, you'll learn next time. I don't want to mess that up again.
Well, you got to be friends with some of the local guys. I don't know if you.
Oh yeah.
Remember George the Animal Steel? I know he was a guy around here. I mean, much older than all of us.
My wife actually went to the school that he taught at.
Really?
Madison Heights. Yeah.
Yep. And then Rhino. We talked to Rhino.
Oh yeah, Rhino's a good friend of mine. I've known him for years. He's one of the sweetest guys. I mean, it's so funny because his wrestling character, especially back in the ECW days, he was scary AF. I mean, that dude.
You can say
I know. He's the sweetest guy in the world, and he's one of the guys that at 3 a.m. I'll get a text message from him and I'll just smile, because I haven't talked to him in a few. So he's a great guy.
Well, we've got something planned with him. If you remember, Jay.
Yeah, he needs to gore E.
We asked him if he would gore E.
Oh, we could set that up totally.
You know what I want, though?
In fact, do you have a move?
Yes, he does.
Eddie Venom has a move?
That spread eagle thing where you bring them down on their face. What is that called?
It was a sit-out choke bomb.
Yes, sit-out choke bomb.
Maybe you could do that.
Get up. Get up. We need to do a sit-out choke bomb.
Take it, man. I don't know how to take it.
You can take it.
Anytime you guys want to do a remote, we could do it from the school. There's a wrestling ring at the school, and we could have E taking all sorts of stuff.
Would you do that move on E? I would look.
I actually would. You know what? Honestly, if we work something out, I would be definitely down to have some kind of wrestling move put on me in a ring. I'd be okay
him
with
in
that.
a real wrestling singlet though, with the headgear.
Singlet. Yeah, he needs the Mexican mask.
Make him look like Danny DeVito in that episode of Sunny.
Yeah.
When he was wrestling.
Right.
Could you if we wanted to just we don't have to do the whole finishing move. We'll save that for later when there's a crowd there or something. But could you put E really quick, like in an armbar? And if he taps out, you let it go. But see if it hurts E. Come on, E. Just get on.
Can he?
Yeah. All right. I'll show you how there's just the difference between.
Where should I do that?
Put the camera on Jay, and we'll have you stand next to him.
My God, he's a mountain of a man.
E, how do I switch the camera? Okay, I got it. I think.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I didn't know I was going to be beating somebody up today.
He literally has to duck to go into the new studio.
Keeping you on your toes. He does. Holy shit.
Here, I can do that.
He is a mountain of a man. And a handsome devil, too.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Okay.
No.
Now really hurt him a little bit. Just a little bit.
Well,
don't break anything, but...
Yeah, I'll just show the difference because people all think that wrestling's fake. And we can make it as fake or as real as
Make it real.
Let's go real. Let's go very, very real.
Does that look okay? I think
yeah, let me see. Get that out of the way.
All right.
I've got your arm. I've got you in an arm.
Now really hurt him too, Jay.
He's gonna put him in an arm bar.
This is more one of the basic. They kind of.
Yep, we've seen that one. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Arm on the back of the shoulder.
Move the hand a little bit and put a little bit.
Oh, hand boost to elbow.
There you go.
Pressure being
And
applied.
how easy would it be to snap that right
Not
now?
much pressure. Or you can do something where you have it's called a hammer lock. You come under.
Yeah.
Where you have them like this.
Yep.
But you can always manipulate the hand just a little bit.
Manipulate it a little more.
Yeah, keep
I didn't get a
manipulating.
sense of that.
Yeah, I really want to get a sense. I want him to high-pitch scream once.
I can see how much I can escalate.
You can either make it as real or as fake as you want.
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
With
We prefer
younger
real
guys,
when
with
he's
younger
involved.
guys, you kind of you would put a little bit more pressure on.
Sure.
Oh God, that's so funny, man. So yeah, I'm always wondering too about seeing you guys because some of the things I'm watching, like you can do the stomp on the mat when you punch or slap, and some guys are better at that than others, obviously. But there's some real shit going down in the ring. Like,
absolutely.
Honest to God, like bodies are being whipped out of the ring.
Yep.
Real chairs are flying.
yeah.
Real fists.
That's the thing. People say, "Oh, it's fake." I was like, "Well, there's no way to fake getting hit in the head with one of those steel chairs or across the back. They don't use fake chairs. Those are real, real chairs.
Even a
from
padded
Costco,
mat. Yeah, right. But even a padded mat, when a guy picks you up 6 feet and
Yeah,
slam,
absolutely.
like, there's no way that doesn't hurt or take a toll. What do you do if you get hurt? And I know you've got experience with this. Like, really hurt in the ring. I mean, does the show stop? Because we see one thing on TV, but have you ever seen it where it's like, oh shit, that guy snapped his leg and we got to stop everything?
Oh yeah. And in fact, if you ever watch, even on WWE, if you ever see something happen and the ref does this X right here, that means something's wrong.
Really?
Yeah, and they'll get somebody out. And I've unfortunately been in the ring where one of my best friends, Truth Martini, he did a jump out to the outside, and the guy was supposed to catch him and fall back. He didn't, and so when he hit him, he just kind of landed, like just slid straight down, head first into the concrete. He was paralyzed. And he was paralyzed for a good 2 hours. We had to take him to the hospital right then.
Oh my God.
I broke my back in the ring. I was wrestling at Fitzgerald High School, actually, in Warren, and doing a move where I have the guy on my shoulders, and I drop down to my butt. It's supposed to be like a backbreaker to him. And he's supposed to slide off my shoulders, but unfortunately, just something happened, the angle where his whole body just stayed on my shoulders. So I dropped down to my ass. It compressed my spine.
You've got 200-some pounds of guy on your spine.
Yeah, so it compressed my spine. I broke one vertebrae, crushed another one. Somehow I actually finished that match.
I love when I hear those stories. Well, I finished them. It's like, how did you finish with a shattered ankle or a broken back?
I felt like some popping in my back, but I literally thought to myself, because a couple months earlier I had some back problems, and the doctor said, "Oh, you probably cracked a rib in the back." So I literally thought I just kind of broke a couple ribs in my back. But I was down, and I'm like, "Oh man, I'm hurt." And they're like, "Oh, well, there's only like 2 minutes left. Let's finish." I'm like, "All right, here we go." So we finished a match, and it was a tag match, and me and my best friend actually won. So he wanted to go celebrate in the crowd because it's a bunch of high school kids. I'm like, yeah. So I'm walking through the stands, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, celebrate. All right."
Oh, they're all patting you on the back.
I'm walking to the back, and I walk through the curtain. My wife is right at the curtain, and I'm like kind of stumbled over, and I'm like, I think I'm hurt, and I fall through the curtain, and I just collapse.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you? And then what? You end up in the hospital?
Well, I thought I just broke my ribs, so I was like, well, I'll just give it a couple days and see how it feels, and then. But by the next day, I couldn't move, so we had a party to go to. I'm like, you go to the party, I'm gonna drive to the hospital, just get X-ray, and I'm sure it's just broken ribs. They can't do anything. So I drove myself to the hospital, and I went, and I'm playing on my phone or whatever. They did an MRI or a CAT scan or something, and she comes back, and the doctor's like, well, we're gonna give you an IV so we can give you some morphine. I'm like, oh, all right, well,
awesome.
I'm not gonna
Sounds
say no
good.
to that. Then I say, but why? She goes, well, MRI came back and you broke your back. I'm like, oh, that explains that. I go, before you give me that morphine, let me make a call real quick. I'm like, honey, come get me.
Yeah. So then what do? Do they just brace you, or do you have to have surgery?
Yeah, I got super lucky. They said because I was, that was back when I was trying to get into WWE, so I was training all the time. I was lifting weights. My back was really strong. They said my back muscles were so strong that even though I broke the vertebrae, they kept them in place so they didn't move. So I didn't have to. I just had to rehab it and no surgery, thank goodness. But
well, I was talking to Vinny Dombrowski today, and I was like, hey, Jay Adams? He's like, oh, hell yeah, awesome dude. And he's like, actually was at his next match after he broke his back.
yeah,
so I was there in person to watch it.
Yeah, well, I was dumb though. I probably got in them. It was probably 3 weeks after it happened.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I got back into the ring way too quick. Yeah,
Yeah.
But I just took it easy. I like and that was another, for about 3 months I wrestled, but I would wrestle only things that I was able to do. You know what I mean? I didn't do a whole lot. I worked around it. So
What is the need to rush back?
I'm an
Love of the
idiot.
game.
Love of the game.
It kind of is. And that's, people say about in WWE, if you're out for a little bit, all of a sudden you lose your spot. You know what I mean? So that's one of the big problems with WWE is guys get hurt and
Just keep going.
they keep going. They keep going, and they find a way to keep going. Unfortunately, a lot of times that means painkillers. That means just something to help you keep going because they don't want to lose their spot. And that's what's, in my opinion, has been one of the things that has been the result of a lot of famous pro wrestlers dying too young because they just
Every one of them.
yeah because they
so many
done so much damage to their body.
I mean, that was tragic. The what was the HBO documentary?
you're-
Andre
Andre
the
the
Giant.
Giant, yeah.
Oh yeah,
There's a few of them out there that we've seen, and it's like, yeah, here's this guy who's traveling the globe, but in order to stay in there, he's eating bottles full of painkillers and drinking 2 cases of beer,
and I think that's
just
what,
to get out there.
a lot of people blamed it on steroids, but I don't think it was that. I think it was painkillers and things like that with the Chris Benoit thing. I think that he had altered his body so much, he had altered his brain so much with chemicals to keep going.
Yeah,
I think that it finally made him sad.
it's got to be CTE. They might have even figured that out.
I
with
have
him.
I have a big feeling
That was the
CT
murder
is a lot.
suicide one, right?
Right.
Yeah, he killed his wife
his
and daughter,
son.
and then, his wife and son, and then killed himself. Is insane.
Yeah.
So during your wrestling days, are you simultaneously then seeking the Hollywood stuntman life, or does that come later?
No, I actually, like I said, I never really knew of a way to get into stunt work, but when I broke my back, that was actually kind of the catalyst that I'm like, all right, I think I'm done with this
I'm going
wrestling.
to go into a safer mode of
Sure.
work
Yeah.
here. Hollywood stuntman.
Exactly. No, I knew that my wrestling days were numbered, but I knew I still wanted to be an entertainer of some sort. And it just so happened that's when Michigan had a great tax incentive for filming.
Yeah.
So we had tons of stuff filming here. So
That's
there was-
got to bum you out that went away.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole different story.
I mean, there are so many projects that should be
yeah.
going on in Detroit. That
Well, that's how I got into it, though. There were stunt coordinators in town, and one of my best friends, his name is Zach Gowan. He was the world's only one-legged wrestler for a long time. He lost his leg when he was
I
like
wanna
7
see
years
him.
old. Oh, he's amazing.
Really?
The kid is amazing. He was in WWE for like 2 years. He has
Really?
one leg. He lost it to cancer when he was 8 years old.
Seems like I would remember a wrestler like that.
Yeah,
this
it
is back in
sure
about
does.
2002 area, and
you can't figure 4 leg lock a guy like that.
yeah, but he had huge matches. Like he wrestled Vince McMahon on a pay-per-view. He wrestled Brock Lesnar here in
Really?
Detroit.
Yes, dude, I remember this. I forgot about this guy, but
Yeah.
you're right. Shit, let me get this.
So he got hired by a stunt coordinator to do a war movie here in town, and they were going to blow his leg off. And I was like, that is the coolest thing. I've always wanted to be a
But it's
stuntman.
like,
He's like,
shit, he's already missing one.
Yeah.
You can't blow his other leg off.
No, Jay, I think they were just going to blow the fake one off,
Oh.
not his other one.
All right.
Yeah, that'd be just mean.
so yeah, and he introduced me to that stunt coordinator, and I started networking with other coordinators and just went from there.
Yeah.
And so is that the deal then? Again, no agent. You're just dealing with stunt coordinators then.
With the stunt side,
Like
yeah,
self-promotion.
Absolutely. I mean, I have an agent.
Relentless.
I have an agent for acting stuff that gets me auditions for straight up acting roles and things like that I've been lucky enough to do. But yeah, as far as stunt work, the stunt coordinators are who actually hires you for the film or the TV show. So it's basically just a bunch of networking with stunt coordinators, getting them their information.
Yeah.
And
And are there a million of them? Like, what are we talking? A small group of 30 guys who really? run
no, there's
Hollywood,
there's a bigger group than that because you got to figure there's productions all over the country, all
Filming
the time,
all the time. All over the world, really.
California, New York, Atlanta is huge right now.
Yep, Walking Dead's in Atlanta.
New Mexico. There's all these different pockets that have different tax incentives where people are filming. So there's a coordinator for each one.
So that's just
Chicago,
a lot of work, man.
it's a
just
lot
trying
of
to
work.
promote.
Yeah, so it's a lot of work, and it's kind of one of those things where it's such a dangerous job that they do have to be able to trust you. You have to be able to know what you're doing. So once you start working, so it's kind of hard to get in the door as well. So you have to have people vouching for you.
It's the chicken or the egg too.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to get. It's not really hard, but it's not easy to get a SAG card or an after card,
Right.
and you can't even get on a set without
Yeah.
as a stunt coordinator or a
Yeah.
stuntman.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like a vicious circle. It's like where
Right.
you can't work these SAG union jobs without being a union member, but you can't be a union member until you do those jobs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So how do you
Right.
do it? You
So-
try to be an extra somewhere, and
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
I did that at first. I did extra just to kind of get on set and kind of get the feel of it and how it all works. And this is all while I was also networking with different coordinators.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to figure on a stunt job, like I said, it's so dangerous. You meet a guy, if you don't have any references, you don't know any better, you're not necessarily going to hire that guy.
Right.
So it takes somebody vouching for you. It takes just hustling and busting your ass until you finally work with somebody that will vouch for you to one coordinator. And then once you work for that coordinator, there's like, oh yeah, that's a good dude.
once you're in the fraternity,
Yeah, it's kind of like
kinda
it's
in.
once you're in there, and then once you have a couple good coordinators that'll vouch for you, then it goes a long way. So
and so I know the more padded your resume, and I don't just mean with acting credits or stunt credits. I mean, like, the more things you can offer to a stunt coordinator or a movie's director. You know, I've got martial arts background training, wrestling. I can ride motorcycles and horses. I can fire guns. And, you know, what is your background repertoire of things?
well, I specialize in from my wrestling background, I specialize in fight scenes. Not necessarily martial arts. I'm not a martial artist, but I'm what they call a ground and pounder. So I
Okay.
do a lot of like just straight up fighting, not necessarily martial arts. I think I'm too big for any of the fancy martial arts stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I could throw a few kicks here and there, but I never really train in martial arts. So I'm a ground and pounder. But I also do ATV work and some motorcycle work and stuff like that.
It looks like when I was reading up on it, though, you kind of need to be a master of these things. It's not just like, yeah, I've done some weekend riding.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like you
it's-
need to be really good.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why,
Yeah.
if there's a martial arts movie that are looking for martial arts, I'm not going to submit to that because I'm a good fighter, but I'm not a good martial artist.
Right.
So if there's a Western going on that has light horseback riding, cool, I'll do that all day long. But if they want super trick, stuff off
Yeah,
of it,
firing.
I won't even submit up
Yeah.
because I know, and I believe I was talking with Jay earlier, I'm one of those guys that I'm not going to tell a coordinator that I can do something if I don't feel that I can.
Yeah, that was one of the big no-nos.
Yeah, because
don't
if
tell
you
them you
do-
don't brag about what you can do that you can't.
Absolutely, because as soon as because that coordinator is also, he's answering to the director, he's answering to the producers. So anybody that he hires is a reflection on him. So I don't ever want to be that guy that gets yelled at, that gets the coordinator yelled at by the director, because that coordinator is never going to hire you again.
Yeah.
And it's going to get around. If somebody asks, hey, this guy works for you, is he any good? I was like, oh man, don't even bother with that guy.
He told me he was a master of rock climbing. The guy was a moron.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I will only tell a coordinator that I can do something if I feel comfortable that I actually can do it.
Will they ever push you, like, where you're like, dude, I told you I wasn't an expert at motorcycle riding, and it's like, I just want you to take it up to 50, take this turn.
That reminds me of,
you know what I mean?
that reminds me of Quentin Tarantino, right? He was accused
Yeah.
of forcing what's her name to
Oh,
do
yeah.
a stunt that she wasn't comfortable
Kill
with.
Bill chick.
Coordinators are good with that. If they believe that you can do it and you're just being,
A pussy?
they might push you. Not necessarily, but if they feel you don't have
Yeah, he's
confidence
being
in
a
yourself,
pussy.
if they feel like
Jay,
you're
you're
not
just
being,
being a pussy.
Jay,
Come
stop being a puss. Come on.
Now
get
you're
up.
nice. Now you sound like my wife. But if they know that, if they feel comfortable that you can do it, they'll push you a little bit. But it's in a good way. They're not going to push you to do something that you're not comfortable with, because there's so many insurance regulations that there's bad things that can happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've had, unfortunately, a couple of bad things happen. Like I said, if you don't feel comfortable that you could do something, don't. There was unfortunately a girl that died on the set of Deadpool 2 because she was a good rider, but the things that she had to do in this particular scene, she was not used to doing, and she unfortunately wasn't able to do
Was it motorcycle?
So yeah, I was on a motorcycle because she was a motorcycle. She was a racer. She raced motorcycles, but it's a lot different going around in circles in racing than it is being on a street course and having to do specific things. So
Yeah.
So that's another thing, just for my own safety. I'm not going to say that I can do something that I can't, because I don't. I need to keep working.
Uma Thurman.
Yes.
Is who we were thinking of,
Yes,
Jay, that crashed the car
on
the set of, was it Pulp Fiction, or was it
it was
actually one of the
Kill
Kill
Bill.
Bills?
Yeah.
And crashed that car and, was made a big deal. I think it was part of the early onset of the hashtag Me Too
It
movement.
was, man. She
Yeah, she
lashed
felt
out at
forced.
Quentin Tarantino, yeah.
Yeah, to do it. The WGN show, Outsiders. I haven't watched the show, but I watched some of you. I don't know if you have the highlight reel of it from that. I'm watching that going, there's no way. That guy, he's way too big to be rolling off of a car. Even though he lands on a mat, it just doesn't seem possible.
Mostly is that
Is
stuff.
is that some of the stuff? I hope we've got the right thing.
Yeah, that's
here.
probably my stuff.
It's really impressive shit, though, man. To see,
I appreciate it.
you know, whether you're being whipped off of a ATV or a four-wheeler or a roof of a car.
Yeah, this is.
This is dope,
from Outsiders. This was great. I got to double for actor Ryan Hurst, who played Opie on Sons of Anarchy. That's where he became really popular. And
So which one's you? That's Ryan.
Yeah, that's me. Anytime you can't see his face, it's me.
And this, what a cool move. That's you.
Yeah, that's definitely me.
Doesn't that look painful?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was actually like my second day on set. That was me hitting them. Yep.
That's you.
It was my second day
He got
on
dirt
set.
faced. He got dirt faced.
Oh, yeah.
did.
Well, the funny thing is about this is we did that ATV part early in the year, probably in May. We didn't do this fight scene until October.
Wow, it looks
Really?
seamless.
Because when they finally were editing the show together, they realized, okay, we need a little bit more action on this scene.
Yeah.
So we came out months later. That's why you'll notice that
So is that you?
that's me throwing him around.
Yeah.
This guy, Joe Anderson, is the actor's name. And in that last scene, it's funny because at the beginning of the scene, his hair's a certain length.
Oh, gee.
When we
Oh,
go
no.
to the fight, his hair's longer. It's like
Oh, no.
I'm one of the only people that notice stuff like that. But yeah, this was a great show. Really bummed that they canceled it because this show was actually really well done. The producers were great, and it was a show that is not like other shows on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we were just in a bad situation. WGN actually sold their whole station to a new company and
Yeah.
got rid of the original programming that they had, and we just kind of got screwed, unfortunately.
But you're fortunate to look like Ryan Hurst, so
Yeah,
you
that's
able
what-
to get further work. because
Yeah,
of that.
absolutely. I got to work with him for 2 years, and actually, that's one of those things where I talked about people vouching for you. We have all these databases that stunt coordinators can go on and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a guy to double this guy." It just so happened that when I had longer hair and a beard, people used to tell me I looked like that guy all the time. So I emailed the guy, I messaged him, but even before I did, I saw in the comments a local guy from here, Detroit, named Ely Barda, who's an amazing stunt guy, amazing stunt driver. Guy can do anything. And he vouched for me. He's like, Bobby, he told the coordinator, he's
Yeah.
like, I actually got a guy for you. And he was instrumental in getting me that job. And I got to work with Ryan for 2 years. And
You were his guy, like his stunt guy.
the whole
anytime.
season, the whole show on that season, everything on that that show. And then we got canceled, unfortunately. So, but now he's going to Walking Dead. He just
Yeah.
got booked on Walking Dead. He's a
Great
new character
role.
on that. So
If
I'm
people are
hoping
watching
that,
it, it's the alpha and beta. He's
Yeah.
beta, the
Yeah.
big dude beta on the new season. I love The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
And that's your boy.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that I've emailed the stunt coordinator and said that I've doubled him before. So I'm hoping in May when they go back to start shooting the new season, I'm hoping
Yeah.
I'll get the call to go back down there and
Well,
work for him.
he got thrown down a elevator shaft like a week ago, and I'm like, dude.
See, I didn't even see that. I haven't seen
come
that
on.
episode yet. But
He's laying on his back in the thing, and it's like he's
You'd
dead.
have done that, right?
yeah, oh yeah,
You think he's dead? He's fighting with Daryl,
Right.
and he gets thrown down this.
Spoiler
Excuse
alerts.
me. Yeah, sorry, it's 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks episode ago.
I mean, I haven't seen it, but
But I'm like,
You're ruining it for him right in front of his face.
well, I
I'm
won't.
just kidding.
But I was like, dude, they can't kill this character now. It's 2
Yeah,
weeks
no,
into their
they
season.
won't.
There's no way. And then at the end of the episode, he starts waking up. I'm like, oh, that should be Jay waking up. That
Yeah.
should be him getting out of that
Well,
elevator shaft.
Ryan's an awesome guy. Because he's about an inch shorter than me, but he's a big, intimidating guy.
Yeah.
He's just a big dude. But people wouldn't notice. He's a Buddhist. He
I
teaches
know.
yoga.
I know. He's a fucking vegan.
Yeah,
pussycat.
he's actually
Yeah.
he's going to be at Motor City Comic Con here in May,
yeah.
and he's
Doing yoga.
and he's teaching Kundalini
No way.
yoga. Him and Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy. They're teaching a class.
Main lead in Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Tough, badass biker
The
guys.
the two toughest guys on that show, and they're
Yeah.
teaching a Kundalini yoga.
Doing downward dog.
Dude, I
But
was.
Ryan used to do that with us in Pittsburgh. He'd have us come to his house and he'd do a yoga class. Some of the people on set, a couple of the guys that were stand-ins and stuff like that on the weekends that lived by him. Because I always came home on the weekends. But he would teach a class at his
Yeah.
home and have people come and do yoga with him.
Well, you see him on Sons of Anarchy or now as bait on The Walking Dead. You just don't assume that he's got industry parents, grew
Yeah.
up in Santa Monica, went to Santa Monica High, and he's a vegan who does yoga. You
His
look at this-
dad was in Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
It was one of
Wait, what?
Cletus Hogg.
You're kidding.
What?
Yeah,
Wait,
Cletus
Cletus.
Hogg.
The nephew, right?
Yeah.
Nephew of Boss Hog.
Of Boss Hog is his what?
Hey, Rick Hurst. That's Ryan Hurst's dad.
I'll be
That's
damned.
amazing. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Here's
Hey,
the good old boys.
Hey, speaking of great TV theme songs,
No,
you ever
no,
watch The
no.
Fall Guy?
Oh, that's my ringtone on my phone.
Hell yeah! Yes, yes, I love that
You
show.
guys want to hum the theme together? Any chance Jake and I have to sing along to the Fall Guy?
Colt
Oh,
Seaver, man.
That was
What a
great.
great show.
Oh, that was a great show. Oh man, I remember that
Are
as a
you
kid.
kidding me?
Not to shift gears, but going back to the Dukes really quick. Didn't you get to hang out with the stunt guy that used to do
Well, yeah, that was
Jump the
that was
General
the General Lee?
yeah, that was cool on season 1 or episode 1 of season 2 of Outsiders. We had a big fight scene in a bar parking lot, and so I was fighting for Ryan. I was fighting like 4 guys. One of them was a guy named Ted Barba, who is an older guy. I got to throw him through a windshield, but he has been doing stunts for 35 years. He was one of the original drivers of the General Lee and all that. He was on countless episodes of Dukes of Hazzard, jumping the cars and doing all this stuff. He was actually also he's a big parachute guy, so he was doing in Point Blank. Or not Point Blank, Point Break.
Point Break, yeah.
Point
the
Blank
surf
was a whole
movie.
different movie. He
both
was
great,
one
though.
of he did a lot of the aerial stuff on there, and there's a couple scenes where it's supposed to be those guys and they're floating around and it's actually Ted. But
Really?
which was cool because Ryan, like I said, his dad was Cletus Hogg. So I got to introduce Ted to Ryan. I was like, yeah, Ryan, this is Ted. He used to work with your dad on Dukes, and Ted is such a cool little dude. He's like, yeah. Is your dad's phone number still blah, blah, blah? And Ryan's like, holy cow, yeah, it is. It's like so weird. So, yeah, that's the best part about this job is being able to work with different people from all over that have done amazing projects. I got to work with Chris O'Hara, who did a bunch of the stunt work on a bunch of the Marvel movies and stuff like that. I've got to work with Danny Boyer, who's used to work on Banshee on Cinemax and done a ton of stuff. So
Ray Donovan, didn't you work on Ray Donovan?
yeah,
a
I
little
did
bit?
it. I did a couple episodes of Ray Donovan this last season. I did an episode where I was just in the background, just kind of hitting a heavy bag, in a gym. They liked me, so they brought me back to do this whole fight scene that I got to do with one of the leads. His name is Dash Mihawk, and I got to do a whole fight scene with him that was absolutely edited beautiful, where they had Aerosmith Dream On playing in the background, and it was just it was beautiful the way they edited it. And he was a great actor. He did the whole fight himself with just me and him. He was great to work with.
And so you guys kind of stage out what you're going to do? for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
scene?
Especially with something like that when we were working with an actor. So I was out in New York 3 different times before we even shot it. So I went out there
Really?
for 3 different rehearsals, and then the day of, then we shot it.
And how long a scene is that? Just to give a sense of like how much work goes into the background
Right.
for like a 20-second
The
scene.
scene, like the fight scene, like the whole scene itself is about 6 minutes long, but it keeps going back.
shit.
But it keeps going to different clips and then coming back to our fight. The way they edited it was like tying. It was at the very end of the episode. Our actual fight is probably 1.5 minutes long though, which is actually pretty long for a fight. But it was like a underground like fight club scene.
Okay.
So it was a big boxing scene. So for a 1.5 minute fight, like I said, I was out there 3 different times for rehearsal, and we shot probably 14 hours that day.
So then they'll pay you, say we're putting you on a flight from Detroit. You're going to fly to New York and then go to this gym. You're going to meet.
Yeah, we did the rehearsal at their studios actually,
Yeah.
in Brooklyn, and so yeah, would go out there and do the rehearsals, and with the stunt coordinator first and a fight choreographer, we'd do it first. Then the actor would come in, we'd teach it to him. He'd give his points where he wanted to get in, and we put it all together, and then we rehearsed it a few times, and then the day of, then.
So
yeah,
how
we
much
shoot.
input can you have, Jay? If it's like if you're there and the fight coordinator and the director have an idea, we want this to happen in this amount of time. Can you go, I'm really not comfortable with this move going into this move. Do you mind if we do it this way into this way?
Yeah, the little things like that. When you want to kind of give the stunt coordinator and the fight coordinator space. They're the bosses, so you do what they're. But if you don't feel comfortable with it, you can put little tweaks in it here and there. Say, hey, I'm way better at throwing a right than I am a left, maybe.
Yeah.
And we'll work it out because they want it to look the best that it can as well. And like I said, we'll bring in the actor, and the actor is always going to have his take on it as well because. I'm a character for 1 episode. He's been this character for 6 seasons, so he knows how his character will act.
Yeah.
So there's nothing better than getting the input from the actor, and that's what I would do with fight scenes with Ryan too. I'd put the fight together with the fight coordinator or the stunt coordinator. We'd bring Ryan in. teach him it, and then he would give us his points. He's like, well, I think I would, my character would do this, so we just tweak it from there. So
Yeah. That's got to be fun. Is it more nerve-wracking? Like, I imagine anytime you go to a new set, it's like, oh boy, butterflies or anything, like anyone would have. Like, being an actor in a scene or being a stunt guy, which one are you more nervous at or more comfortable at?
Stunts. I'd rather do the stunts, but acting I don't get anywhere near as nervous. Because,
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. But the stunts are more of a whole. Acting is kind of one thing. Stunts to me is like the entire thing. Stunts, we don't get enough recognition. Like, we have our whole community has a big thing where we boycott the Oscars because the Oscars don't have a stunt category.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been going on for a while. We've been doing stand up for stunts, hashtag stand up for stunts, and hashtag boycott Oscars. We've been trying to get the Oscars to recognize the impact that it has, because all those movies that are up for Oscars, or even all the clips that they show, are always action scenes.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what they use, but they don't want to recognize the contribution that we give. So it's
Hollywood's
crazy.
weird, though. They don't have like a comedy category.
Yeah.
For movies. I mean, what do you?
It's pretty
seriously.
weird.
And then, I mean, it's changing now, especially with the movie that won Best Picture. Was it? The Marvel movies can't win anything historically.
Oh, yeah.
Black Panther.
Well, yeah, they now they did a popular movie category instead of like best movie. Now they do a popular movie. It's kind of ridiculous. But to me, the stunts have so much. It's more than just doing a stunt. It has so much to do with the storytelling, because you can do so much storytelling with a fight, with just a well placed action sequence. So to me, that it makes me a little bit more nervous. Plus, too, because I want to be the best that I could be, and I want to, impress the coordinator. I want to make him happy that he's hired me, so that next time where he's like, I need somebody, I know he can do it. Boom, I hired Jay again.
So when you go onto a set like Batman v Superman, which was shot here, and you played a cop, I believe, on that. Like, when you first get onto a set and here's your trailer where you're going to hang out. Obviously, the first thing you do is go find all the big stars, get your pictures and autographs.
Yeah.
And then once you do
So
that,
right.
what's the professional thing? Like, what's the move? You go into your room and take a nap,
Yeah,
run lines?
I go into my room. Usually they'll have a script there to tell you what's going on in the day. And they'll have your wardrobe in there as well. So I try to get dressed in wardrobe as quick as possible. And then I usually take my laptop and I just stay in there and just chill and just wait. Because it's better to be... what is it, heard not seen or something. You know what I mean, like I try to stay out of the way, so I'm not standing out until they need me, because there's especially on a movie like that, there's hundreds of extras, there's so many people running around, and the last thing they need is to be looking for you when you should be right, because when they need you then. So it's like you can't be roaming around when they look for you in your trailer, you're not there, you know what I mean? So I always just kind of chill. I go into my spot and I'll play on my laptop, I'll watch movies, I'll do whatever, I'll play on Facebook and wait until they come and get me.
Yeah. And then do you have memorable moments from that movie doing that? I don't know how long the shoot was, or
Batman vs Superman was cool. I was on 2 days.
You're a comic book fan. That had to be exciting.
Just it was definitely, it was a bucket list thing for me. It was like, I'm such a comic book nerd and a Star Wars nerd. I've been in a Batman movie. I've been in a Marvel TV show. Now I just got to get in a Star Wars movie, and I can die happy. Yeah, I did the Punisher.
Yeah.
So now I can die happy if I could be in a Star Wars.
Unfortunately,
movie.
so many of those movies are using CGI. They're going to CGI out the need for guys like you, right?
You know what though? I was actually just talking with I think with the wife this yesterday, because one of the prequels was on TV, and those prequels are 90% CGI. It's crazy.
Those need to be remade and will be remade at some point.
Man.
They need to be remade.
They don't need to be remade. They need to be forgotten.
Yeah.
But the newer ones, like Force Awakens and stuff like that, have so much more practical stuff in there.
I think that's why
They
people
cut
like
down
them more,
exactly.
man. Yeah.
They cut down the CGI. So you can't ever beat an actual person in, because of my height, I want to be in a Wookiee suit. And I want to be in a Wookiee suit, and I want to do a fall over a railing.
God.
You can't. There's no way to. CGI just doesn't get it as good as practical.
Just
stuff
doesn't.
does. No.
We watched the movies. I swear to God, it's like the kids got a new toy and wanted to show all this cool shit they could do with it.
Yeah.
And it ruined those prequels for Star Wars.
Absolutely.
And it's like there's just nothing but have a great plot. And the real physical scenes, like I don't need to see some of those fight scenes, and all of them are guilty of it. But when I'm seeing someone get punch through 4 walls and
Yeah.
through the cement, and then all of a sudden at the end, one knock takes him down. It's like,
Yeah.
why didn't the previous 500 shots I've been watching for 20 minutes?
Well, that's all to do
Take
with
him out.
storytelling too. That's you're a I don't mean to sound mean to other viewers, but you're one of those smart viewers where you think it's like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. Why is this? And that was actually one of the things I always did with wrestling. I always tried to make it make as much sense as possible. If I was wrestling a smaller guy, I would throw him around, but he would try to throw me around. I wouldn't do it until towards the end where he broke me down until they finally got me off my feet. Just things like that, and that's how I go into storytelling with these fight scenes too. To me, I like to, you're gonna have those comic book movies that are way over the top, but for something like Ray Donovan, we wanted to make it. It has to make sense. It has to look real. It has to look like that. What is happening is actually happening, not some over the top, crazy stuff.
As mentioned, he is a bear of a man, a mountain of a man.
Mountain of a man, absolutely.
I wonder how limiting that is. I mean, it is to an extent, right? Because you have to look like the person you're playing as the stuntman. So have you been able to parlay this into like monsters and different characters like that? You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, my size it helps me in certain aspects, but then it hurts me in certain aspects. As far as doubling people, Ryan's the only person that I've ever doubled because there's not many actors, not only that look like me, but are as tall as me.
Yeah.
But also, it can also hurt because if you have a smaller actor, that's, we made a joke about Tom Cruise. He's got to fight a big guy.
Yeah.
Well, if he's only 5'5" and I'm 6'6",
You saying he's 5'5"?
I'm saying
If
if he's 5'5".
he claims 5'7", I believe, but I don't know.
But-
if I buy that.
You see that difference, and that big of a difference makes him actually look even smaller. So as opposed to like if they want a big guy, they might get a 6'1" guy instead of a 6'6" guy. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely, I knew getting into this I was going to be a niche kind of guy. When I first got into it, I always said, there's an actor that was in all the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. He was one of the bad guys. He had long hair, like was shaved on the side. He was always the big bad guy, always beat the crap out of Jean-Claude Van Damme in every movie and then got killed at the end. I go, that's all I want to be.
Yeah.
I want to be that guy that just beats him up and then he kills me at the end.
But having a unique look, like I couldn't get a role in a movie in Hollywood. There's nothing,
Well, that's why I said I'm a niche guy. I keep my hair and beard long
Shut up, Jake.
so that I
there's
can.
fat guys in
No,
Hollywood.
I wasn't going to mention a fat guy.
That's why I
Chaz
keep the
Bono.
long. Oh,
No,
you're right.
see it, don't you?
No, I don't.
No, you don't. Thank you.
I don't. I'm going to look at that poster while I'm talking. No, I keep my hair long and the beard so that if I do
they
get to
want it,
double,
it's there.
Yeah,
If not,
exactly.
yeah.
And that's that's kind of an unwritten law. You just let your hair grow until the production asks you to cut it.
Yeah.
And so how many days does the shoot have to be? How much money and days of work before if they said we need you to shave your head and your beard?
It all depends because I've got some potential
One day Mountain Dew
things.
commercial.
Well, actual national commercials are very good money.
All right.
The residuals on those are
Zod
crazy.
Ford
but-
locally. Zod Ford.
Probably not, but like right now I'm in a position too where I the actor that I double has a show going on, so there's a possibility of me working for him, and he's kind of got my loyalty. So
Who you're talking
Ryan,
about? Ryan
because
Hurst,
he's
yeah.
working with Walking Dead now.
Yeah, why have you called him?
You
It's
actually
like,
I talked to him.
What's
yeah.
the deal, bro?
No,
I hear
we
you
talked
fell down
about
an
it
elevator shaft the other day. Where was I?
When he first, right before it got announced, he was in town doing a thing at Motor City Harley, doing an appearance, and I went and saw him, and he's like, "Dude, this week there's something going to be announced. It's going to be pretty crazy." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And 2 days later, it was announced Walking Dead. So I emailed the stunt coordinator, and he's only on a few episodes of this season because they were like the second half of the
Don't
season.
spoil it.
So
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So hopefully when they go back, now they've been done since October. They go back in I think May. So I'm gonna email the stunt coordinator again, and I'm gonna see Ryan in May as well at Comic-Con. So hopefully
take
it's
the
just a
yoga
matter
class?
of I don't know about that, but yeah. So hopefully.
How bad do you want the job, my man?
Yeah, so hopefully I'll be going down in May, and as long as the stunt coordinator hires me to do so, and that's why I keep the hair because I love Brian's a great guy. He was really good to me. I mean, that show Outsiders was really kind of propelled my career forward. I was
Sure.
kind of stagnant for a while, and he is one of the best guys out there to work for. So I'll definitely be loyal to him as much as possible.
Well, that's got to lead to a lot of stuff, and maybe it's not important anymore where you are. Jeff Daniels has done it for decades. Do you think, though, if you were in Los Angeles and not, staying here in Detroit, that it'd be easier to get more steady work? And
possibly, I've talked about going down to Atlanta where they shoot Walking Dead and getting a room with some other stunt guys and stuff like that. But again, I'm a niche guy, so it all depends on if they're going to need a big guy. You know what I mean?
Wait till you see the fight scene that Beta did the other day.
Yeah,
that should be you.
Yeah,
right?
Well, I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
And Ryan's actually one of those guys too. He probably did a lot of that himself.
Yeah.
He likes to do a lot of the stuff himself. And if he's, I don't know who they had double. I know they had somebody doubling for him, but I don't know how much of the fight he actually did, because I know Ryan, especially now, him and Norman Reedus are buddying up pretty good. So
Yeah.
I think they both did most of the stuff themselves, but I don't know for sure.
I wouldn't doubt it, but I don't know. I would think does it ever happen where, he's in the middle of a fight scene and he goes, "All right, dude, this is killing me. I got to get out of here. Can you send my boy in?
Oh, yeah,
have him take over. I thought I could handle this, but
well, that fight that we did where I was talking about Ted Barber, the guy from Dukes of Hazzard, we were doing the fight, and I did the big wide angle, shot, and then he got in for some stuff, and then he accidentally got poked in the eye, and he had to go to the hospital. So, but we still had a ton of stuff to shoot, so I actually did the rest of the day as him, and they just shot around, my face and stuff like that, because we do look enough alike where we're in full costume that you can kind of show my face for a couple seconds and get away with it. So yeah,
you can see those scenes when the hair's over your face, you're kind of.
And that was like a huge moment for me, because we did the first take, and the director, this old British guy, was like, "Stop, stop, stop, stop." I'm not gonna do an accent because I can't do it, but. He's like, and I'm like, oh shoot, something went wrong. And he's like, "I just want to say that I've never seen a double that looks as much like the actor as you do. Well done." Well, and I had everybody clapping. I'm like, holy cow! I go,
this is amazing.
Just make sure the stunt coordinator and the producer heard that. And
Yeah,
he's like,
that's
and
awesome.
So it worked out great. And then it worked out. The rest of the day, I had to do all this stuff because he got, he had to go to the doctor. So.
Did you think about poking him in the eye when he came back?
Yeah, every time I
over
see
again?
him, I'm just like,
Bing.
Hey, Mike, you mentioned our friends at Zott Ford a moment ago. I'd be remiss if I did not do the same.
Sure.
Lease a new 19 Ford all-wheel drive Escape or new 19 Ford EcoSport as low as $82 a month. Yup, $82. Or lease a new 19 Ford Edge or new 19 Ford F-150 Super Crew 4x4 as low as $97 a month. Zott Ford keeps the green in your pocket, so take advantage of these charming payments before they disappear.
J.R. Adams is our guest. You've been with us for the whole show here, and you guys are playing. You play hockey, believe it or not. 6'6", 265. I have that right?
yeah,
So he's
right around there.
Promising us a fight with D-Mac.
There you go. Yeah, take it.
Well, somebody's got to bring him down a notch.
If you could just put a freaking jersey over his head and just a couple.
Give him probably 4, one for each Stanley
One for
Cup.
each Stanley Cup, yes. One for each ring. Just take him down for us.
I know he's going to hear this. He's going to mess with me.
I know
Like,
he
oh,
is.
really?
I'm surprised he
okay.
hasn't walked in
Yeah,
yet.
exactly.
He's done that before.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the first time. So this Saturday, March 23rd, it's the 19th annual, and there's a silent auction raising money for people with disabilities and their families to help make life without limits a reality. Orchard Lake St. Mary's Ice Arena in Orchard Lake. Doors at 3:30. We got sled hockey at 4. The UCP Pucksters, which is your team raising money, versus the Detroit Red Wings alumni squad at 6. SkateWithoutLimits.org. And make sure you click on, if you just go to the tab at the top where it says UCP Pucksters, and it'll drop down a names list. Click on Jay Adams and donate if you can. Raising money for the good cause. And I see you're doing, you're up over 1,300 now.
Ah, somebody listening.
Somebody listened, maybe
right,
donated.
I like it.
Most people won't hear this till tomorrow anyway, so hopefully some more people jump on there and donate. Don't embarrass us, TDC monsters.
Well,
Take care of us. They always do. They're very, very generous. So
Yeah, and like we said, if you can't donate, come out to the game as well. We're going to have guys like Mickey Redmond plays every year.
Yeah.
Darren McCarty's playing. We've had guys like Johnny Ogrodnik is usually out there. Johnny O's great. Dean Kolstad, a bunch of those guys that I know are usually there every year. So.
and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's a blast.
You pull up the some of the things that they're silent auctioning off. Because I know there's like packages to Wings games, other sporting events, some bar stuff.
Yeah, we usually have like U of M tickets, the Michigan State tickets, Pistons tickets, different ticket packages and stuff like that.
Yeah, see if you can pull it up, Ian. And we'll just a couple more things. What is an average day for a stunt guy like?
It just all depends on how stunt heavy the episode or whatever that we're going to
Like
be.
an average Outsiders episode that today I'm working.
I'd get there, usually early in the day, 6 a.m. call time maybe, because I used to, I have a lot of tattoos, so I'd be in the makeup chair getting tattoos covered up,
Yep.
and then putting the fake ones on. Getting breakfast and just waiting until the scene, the correct scenes, because they shoot a lot all day long. So I'm just waiting in my trailer, just waiting for them to call on me, and then depending on what the stunt is, you go over it with the actors and things like that, and see how much that the actors will be able to do as opposed to us, and get our shots down, the way that we want it, and just
And
go
it's
from
a
there.
full ass day.
Oh yeah, I've had 16-hour days. It's always funny on TV. Fridays, they call them Fraturdays, because it's usually Fridays.
Yeah.
All the units are working. You're usually starting at 6 a.m. and usually ending about 6 a.m. Saturday morning. So.
And how long do you think you could do it for? Because as you get older, the body's not going to hold up forever. Do you parlay that? I'm going to be the guy that coordinates the stunts now.
Eventually,
Yeah.
I'll get into something like that. But I'm still pretty active. I still love doing it. I love having I love a good stunt, man. I love I have a zombie movie that I did last summer that's coming out this year, where I got to ride on top of this hood and get flipped over the car and stuff like that. And I tell you what, man, it was the funnest thing. I have a blast doing that stuff.
How do you fall off a moving car or get hit by a car or flung off a horse and land? Like, because I know I'd break my neck and be dead or paralyzed. Well, how do you not get paralyzed doing that?
It's a lot of training on learning.
Pull up the video, dude, of him on the. Do we have the one? We started to watch the one when you're on the ATV.
Yeah, the other one has at the beginning where I go rolling off the car.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a matter of training and learning how to fall correctly. And
So how do I want to do it? If I get hit by a car outside later today, like, what's my move? What's my immediate move?
You're gonna hop up, and right before it hits you.
Yeah. Okay, here I am. I'm on the roof of a car, and this guy wants to shake me something off.
Okay, he's gonna end up coming to a stop.
Yep.
So it's basically lowering that shoulder.
So
See that I lowered that right shoulder so I can roll over through my shoulder.
I haven't been doing that. I have not been lowering my right shoulder.
Yeah.
Hold on. Pull it back again. And so do you know, like, okay, 3, 2, 1, roll.
Yeah, well, if you notice, there's like a block right there. We have a professional stunt woman that's driving the car as well.
You got a chick driver and you trust her?
Oh yeah.
Just kidding.
So we went it over. We went over it real slow as well. I got up on the car and we drove real slow, and I knew exactly where she was going to stop. And it's kind of a momentum thing too. You could feel like, even though she's slamming on the brakes, you can feel as soon as that car dips, you're about to go.
So she hits the block here.
She doesn't. That's where her end stop, her end point is. So she shouldn't even technically hit it. But that's kind of there just as a safety, so that she goes a little bit farther, she can feel it.
And so do I want to hop up and roll, or am I just going into the roll?
Just all depends on how fast you're going. If you're going to get hit, if you're standing on the ground and you're getting hit, then yeah, you would do a little hop as that car comes to you. You would, because if your feet are planted and it hits your legs, there goes your knee. So you hop up a little bit so that you can.
Up.
Once you get hit in the legs, then you kind of roll onto that up the hood and then.
God.
Yeah, and then
over the windshield.
Do I want to hit the windshield with my shoulder then?
You'll try to actually. This one I'm already on on the hood, so this one's a little bit different. But if you're getting hit with the car, you're also going to have a professional driver in there that knows what he's doing too, because they're going to hit that brake and it's going to dip that down so that you can roll up, and then they're going to just give it a little bit of gas so it actually will kind of pop you a little bit as well.
Okay.
So stunt work is not just the person rolling off the car. You got to be able to trust the person driving the car. They have to have that ability.
So what if you can't? You just got into an argument with some guy in a parking lot at 7-Eleven, and now he wants to hit you. Do you think you could successfully, like...
I will, if I see him coming at me, I'm going to put 3 rounds through the windshield before I'm not even bothering with him.
but could you be like, okay, I've done this in the movies. Yeah, I don't have my girl driving the car that I trust, but I can roll and dip a shoulder in the
You're going to
windshield.
get messed up, though, because that person's not stopping. If they're driving, that's the point where you're rolling onto the hood and rolling on the windshield. If they don't stop, that windshield's hitting you full. You can roll onto the hood, but the windshield's going to hit you at full speed, and that's going to mess you up.
That's going to hurt.
You're probably going to either go through it, or it's going to actually bounce you forward and not allow you to roll.
We don't want
over
that,
it.
Jay.
So, no,
we don't want the
you
bounce
don't want
forward.
that.
I tell you what, when we wrap things, we'll go outside and E will have you hop up on the hood of his car, and
Yeah.
we'll just see. We'll just do a couple practice runs. See if
We don't
can
have
get
pads,
E.
but I saw like a pile of leaves. We'll just have that.
Yeah,
for the car.
It works.
E, remember, you want to just roll on that right shoulder.
Shit, I wasn't paying
Roll-
attention, to be honest with you. So
It's all right. We'll get through it. We're gonna be all right.
Hey, everybody, at every Twin Peaks, you'll find wall-to-wall TVs, scratch food, and signature 29-degree beer served by the best-in-class Twin Peaks girls. Welcome to your new local spot for sports and scenic views. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, scenic views.
We're in that weird sweet spot where we should probably just wrap it up. Maybe the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate
Of course. I'll ask you one last thing: is what do you think are the biggest misconceptions about stunt work, that kind of job? Do you have any? Because I know the reason I know because doing this show, people think it's, oh, we hear you for an hour and a half, you just screw around for an hour and a half, and then that's your day. And it's like,
Exactly.
Well, it's probably like my first question about wrestling. Like, oh, it's fake. It's, well, dude, you're still bouncing around,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like I said, stunt work is a good metaphor for pro wrestling. It's predetermined, it's scripted, but what we do in there is real. What we're doing is we're getting the crap beat out of us.
Yeah.
And but yeah, a lot of people think that it's a little bit more glamorous than it is being on set. They think, oh, it's Hollywood.
Not me. I know the song "The Fall Guy." I'm very familiar.
They think how glamorous, and they think, or see the movie with Burt Reynolds, Hooper, and they think that we're all, in between movies, we're all driving like crazy. We're all doing doing barrel rolls on the highway and stuff like that. It's like no, it's not as glamorous as it's hard work. We're very lucky to do what we do, and we get paid very well to do it, but it's dangerous work and it's hard work. I mean, we're busting our ass. Just because we're only on set for one day, that doesn't mean that we didn't rehearse for 4 days before that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or weeks before that.
Yeah,
See, I just think of like scenes like in Deliverance. Like, dude, that's put into day's work when you're in a scene like Deliverance,
That's a little
squeal
rough.
like a
Ned
pig.
Beatty? Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
I don't
that's
think
real
that was
work.
a stunt man.
I wasn't
No.
going to be his double for that. No.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one to pull off. Anyway, good luck this weekend
Thank
with
you so much.
the hockey game. Hopefully you guys can take it to those damn wings.
Oh yeah, at least a couple of them.
Yeah. How
This
did
one named D-Mac,
DMAC? That's the one you want to go after.
number 25.
Orchard Lake St. Mary's Ice Arena in Orchard Lake. Doors at 3:30. Sled hockey at 4, which is a lot of fun to watch. UCP Pucksters versus the Wings Alumni Squad at 6 p.m. All for a good cause. SkateWithoutLimits.org, and you can help a good cause and go to the site there, SkateWithoutLimits.org, and click on the Pucksters. Find your name, J.R. Adams, and donate. So make us proud, TDC Monsters, and thank you so much for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me.
Got to have you back in again soon.
Absolutely, whenever.
All right. Jay, let's take a quick time out. Maybe we'll come back and say bye so we can at least get the commercial in. We'll be back in a minute.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break. Detroitcast continues now, bitches. Here are Mike and Jay.
Alrighty. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Mike and Jay. Of course, Big E. How'd that armbar feel, E? Huh?
That's no joke, man. That's kind of crazy to.
Hell yeah.
Like, you could feel it if he wanted to.
He could have snapped your
Right.
fucking arm in an
Lot of
instant,
trust.
dude. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that was fun. I didn't even mention, man, like, when I was doing prep, I don't know if you saw this, Jay, but Jay stars in one of the Sponge videos.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, he's got a role in that. I guess he's known Vinny for a long time. And
Okay.
Yeah, Vinny was like, "Oh, dude, he's an awesome guy," you know. Whatever. But yeah, he's got
really connected. We were talking afterward,
Yeah.
E and I, during the break with him, and he's just like whipping out names of people E and I know. He's
Right.
like, oh yeah, absolutely. And he's
Really?
just that's how you do that, right? If you're gonna
What do you
it
mean,
right.
people that you guys know, like actors, you know, or
No,
like that, or
local
personal
people. Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
really super networked, man.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I know he came in. He's like, "We've got some friends that Chris Krasanik and Doug Yashiro." I'm like, "Fuck, I haven't heard those guys' names in a long time." Like from Livonia and Farmington Hills, and it's like, "Yeah, there's buddies of mine. We're out on St. Patty's." I was like, "What?
What?
Funny? What? Small world, man. Small world." Anyway, we got a few minutes left. Maybe we just throw to some email or something.
You know, before we get to email, Mike,
Oh,
I do
for
have
the
to. No, I have to mention Bill Ogden's legal triage.
Oh yeah, Bill's a good boy.
Mike was prejudging you.
For the love
fact,
of-
Some prejudgment right
No,
there.
usually when he says, "Well, before
I
we
know.
get to that, I know where it's going."
I need to pass this on to J.R. Adams because if he has another traumatic injury or accident,
Mm.
he doesn't need to call the billboard or TV attorneys. His first call should be to Ogden Legal Triage. Ogden Legal Triage will find you the right personal injury attorney for your case at no cost to you. They will negotiate the best price and save you time, money, and hassle. Who better to help you find a lawyer but a lawyer? Ogden Legal Triage. For more information, go to firstcalldetroit.com.
Yes, call Billy.
First
boy.
Detroit.com. Now, I faked you out. I do have
Oh,
posts.
for the love of fuck.
We've received posts, Mike.
Oh, for the love of fuck.
From a Mexican paradise. Look at this. It's from Nate. Hey, fags and Big E. Whoa. Greetings.
doing.
Greetings from our first family cruise to Cozumel, Mexico. What a great time we had on board the brilliance of the seas, and what a shithole country we stopped at.
Oh no. Cozumel's nice. Come
Cozumel,
on.
Mexico.
Sure.
I think I've been there.
Probably.
Yeah.
Cancun.
After a quick tour of the island, both boys were begging to get back on the ship and never want to go to Mexico again.
Yeah.
How can you not like this? It's a basic stop at a cruise. It's one of these cruise stops.
Right, they're not
where
gonna be like-
there's this little industry around it where you get all the trinkets and stuff, and then there's a couple bars there, and you do that.
Yep.
And then you get back on the ship. Like, how could it be that bad?
It can if they make you bus into somewhere to see, like, oh, we're going to the pyramids. Like, dude, that gets into some tough stretches of land where it's like, oh boy, yeah, maybe it's we're better.
Look
served on
forward,
the
look
boat.
forward, look forward.
Eyes straight ahead. Let's get back to the boat.
Nate says, "Oh well, at least camping season is right around the corner. I'll be sure to keep you posted."
Well,
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Thank you,
Sure,
Nate.
sure.
Now on to email proper. Russ writes in.
Russ.
Right here, Dad. Hey, man, I have a few beehives that have made it through a couple winters. My reaction to stings is getting worse, so I'm getting out of it.
See,
didn't we talk about, though, you get more immune to it? Wasn't that the
you
assumption?
do, but every year you have to build your immunity again. You have to be around them all the time. So you're going to get stung a lot. Yep.
I can set you up with a hive and some gear at a reasonable price if you're interested, says
Ooh, a
Russ.
reasonable. I love when people say reasonable
Yeah.
price. Reasonable price to who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
You
you.
remember that video we were watching yesterday, E? With that ropes. Jay needs to get one of those ropes. Maybe you can find
Oh,
that
the
guy.
shit. I don't. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can try.
There's
kind
a, well, he dresses in a beehive outfit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, the little wiener dog, right?
Yeah.
I saw that guy.
Yeah, that guy's awesome. He's going to Works. Yeah, I've got to go to Works. Got to find a bad larva. If I find a bad larva, he just walks up and goes,
Yeah, that was his
"Whoa,
thing.
that shrieks!
Yeah.
Get it out of there!
Sniffs him out.
Get that bad larva out of there! You're gonna ruin the whole hive."
Back to Russ.
Russ?
Yeah.
As for the mites that I mentioned, the mites are what are giving me pause on this whole project. They're bad now and will be for the foreseeable future, but they can be controlled. The breed of bees I have were developed to have hygienic characteristics that help keep mite numbers down.
Yeah.
But it still takes work on your part. I live just west of Lansing. Let me know if you're interested. Best Rust. Best. Love that. Best.
That's the best from Ross. This is Caruso. Yeah, I got my hat on. It's rough. And, yeah, boy, just going off to Works.
Got to make sure the larva's is good, not bad.
Why did they leave his ass exposed like that?
I know.
I asked for that. I need a little
He
air
literally has
conditioning.
his asshole exposed.
Yeah,
You know where
here
they're
I
going.
am. That's my hive. I can smell that bad larvae from here. Get it out of there. Throw it away and start over. You're going to ruin the whole hive. Queen's a whore. Oh, yeah, there I am. Ha,
Dressed
that's
as-
Winnie's the Pooh. I'm Caruso the Poohs. Ha! I even eat the honey.
I love those outfits. Really.
Look at that poops. Look at that poops dressed up as Winnie the Poohs. Ah,
Oh, boy.
That's Caruso's honey. Yeah, make sure the larva's
Those are the
good.
best, man. Those outfits where they just show
Yeah.
the front of them, and so they have 2 legs and 2 arms, and
Yeah.
stormtroopers,
Yeah,
or Yoda,
yeah.
whatever it may be.
The one that we saw too, where it looks like a guy's pushing a dog in a cart or something.
Yes.
You know that one?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All awesome.
Little optical illusion.
You need to get one of those guys to keep track of your hive.
Yeah, help with the mites, I guess.
Take a few stings too.
Yeah. So member Ryan writes in, and you can become a member yourselves
Easy.
at DetroitCast.com. Jay, I signed up for a yearly Stan Berta membership on 2/21, and I have yet to receive my pillow.
Oh,
I've sent everyone. I do
Oh,
not
boy.
believe you. I can look at the name, but
Because
I've
you
sent
know-
everyone.
Ryan a liar?
You know, when you
Jesus.
sign up, when new members sign up for a yearly annual membership, you
Yep.
can get 1 or 2 My Pillows depending on the size of membership that you partake in. So Ryan's looking, understandably, for his My Pillow. I was actually looking forward to it, as I've heard so many great things about these magical sleep devices.
They're unbelievable.
They really are. I know.
Jesus.
I know he was busy with the SOS fundraiser and shitting on floors. Perhaps that's why he's
221.
behind in fulfilling his duties.
221 wouldn't have. Well, I don't know. I sent one out. I'll have to see who I sent one out to recently, if that's who it was. I don't know. I sent them all out.
Well, get his name there. E.
I will.
Make sure you don't forget.
With you being the only one responsible in the organization, I'll rely on you, Jay, to remind him. I don't have a Wikipedia entry, so he won't find my info where he finds all of his other researched information. I'll make it easy for him, and here it is below.
That's
you go.
ridiculous. Throw it over here.
Can't get easier than that, E. There you go.
Set up for you. And we mentioned MyPillow a moment ago. Hey, go to mypillow.com, order some Giza sheets.
Yes, Giza sheets really push those a lot.
They're
I bought all of it.
Pushing the Gizas. The Gizas are great, so check those out and make sure that you use TDC code at discount.
Perfect. All right, shall we wrap it up?
We'll save the rest for tomorrow.
Let's do that because we are going to be back tomorrow. Yeah, waiting on a couple of rivals here. Hopefully, we can wrap the studio up too, and move next door. Are you
That'd
guys
be
ready to
good.
go next
That'd be
door?
good.
Yes.
I am ready to move next door. So, if things go well, this one day this week for sure we'll be in there. Anyway, all right, let's get out of here. Thank you everybody for joining us today. Thank you to J.R. Adams for coming by. What a great dude.
Yeah, nice
mountain
guy.
of a man, but seriously, kind of a sweetheart bear of a guy. Didn't want to swear and stuff. Don't blame him. Anyway, thanks to him for coming by. Go support them. And one more time with that website, skatewithoutlimits.org. Go and donate some money. A few bucks always helps. Even small donations help. So hook them up and have a great rest of the day, everybody. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll see you then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.
Make some joy.